Hello, it's Islamu here, and when you look at a map of Europe, you often wonder why countries like Luxembourg and Liechtenstein and San Marino exist. So why do these countries exist? Well, a few hundred years ago, there used to be a massive country in the middle of Europe called the Holy Roman Empire. Now, the Holy Roman Empire was created 1,000 years ago, and it began as a regular, normal country, but over time it gradually converted from a country to a union of tiny countries, and eventually the union gradually deteriorated until eventually it was a bunch of fighting tiny states. That continued until Germany united the northern parts of the former Holy Roman Empire. But what happened to the rest of it? Austria stayed out of Germany because before World War I they were joined to Hungary, and after World War I they were banned from doing it because the Treaty of Versailles wouldn't let them join with Germany. And meanwhile Switzerland stayed out of Germany because they're neutral. But in the middle, you have this tiny nation called Liechtenstein, which obviously grew from the Holy Roman Empire. But why does Liechtenstein still exist? Why hasn't Switzerland or Austria taken it? Well, obviously Switzerland hasn't taken it because Switzerland is neutral, as everyone knows. And Austria hasn't taken over Liechtenstein because they don't want to. And besides, Liechtenstein are a very strong country in war. Once, they sent to war with 80 soldiers and came back with 81 because someone joined the army and no one died. In the west, we have a country called Luxembourg. Now, why hasn't anyone taken it? Well, the logical country to take it would be Germany, and if another country took over Luxembourg, that would annoy Germany. So why hasn't Germany taken over Luxembourg? Well, they kind of lost both wars, so it wasn't really possible. And besides, Luxembourg has its own language called Luxembourgish, which not many people know about because it's very small. But meanwhile, what on earth is going on in Italy? We have two small countries, San Marino and Vatican City. But why do these countries exist? Let's start with the smallest and easiest to explain, Vatican City. Now, let me tell you about a country that existed a few hundred years ago called the Papal States. This country spanned from Rome to the east coast of Italy, but wasn't actually that big, and that was a country which the Pope controlled. Now, in the mid-1800s, a new country called Italy was forming and wanted to unify the entire Italian peninsula. There was only one country left, the Papal States, which they took over. Now, this was bad because now the Pope didn't have any land. Until 1929, when an Italian dictator, who I'm not allowed to name, gave the Pope the smallest possible piece of land that he could give, so the Pope would actually be important again. And that is why we have Vatican City. San Marino is really, really old. It dates back to when the Roman Empire, not the Holy Roman Empire, the Roman Empire still existed. It dates back to 301, when a Christian monk founded the nation to escape from the Roman Empire, who weren't being very nice to the Christians at the time. Even though 5 years later the Roman Empire became Christian and that stuff happened, San Marino stuck around. Now, the Papal States tried to take over San Marino, but this resulted in a court case which San Marino actually won, and they continued to remain independent even as long as the Papal States existed. And when Italy appeared on the scene, they were more interested in other parts of the world, such as Albania. Then we have Andorra, which is probably one of the hardest ones to explain. Basically, there used to be a country in what is now northeastern Spain called Aragon. Now, this was a kingdom, and it was a kingdom created during the Reconquista, which was a time when the Christians in Europe were trying to take over Muslim Iberia, which is Spain and Portugal. Now, at the time, they had only taken over the northern half of the peninsula, and France bordered Aragon, and they had a bit of a dispute with Aragon over this small part of land. And to resolve this dispute, they decided that neither of them should have it, and both of them should have it at the same time. They created a new country called Andorra, which kind of unified them a bit. In the late 1400s, Aragon joined Spain, and now this was kind of a way to unify France and Spain. And it stuck around because it was a way to unify France and Spain. And also because the feudal system was still a thing in France. Until the French Revolution happened, which is why when Napoleon came around, he actually took over Andorra. But in 1815, when he was defeated, Andorra was put back, and still exists today because it kind of unifies France and Spain, and France and Spain haven't been at war ever since that. And now we're on to Monaco, which actually also grew from the Holy Roman Empire, because the Holy Roman Empire actually extended into southeastern France and northern Italy, quite a big country. Now, one of the countries that grew from there was what eventually became Monaco. Now, this country was extremely rich from trading, and because of this unique Monegasque identity, it remained a country. Now, it's quite complicated, the history of Monaco, and no one's actually going to take over Monaco. It's quite a powerful country. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, everyone. If you liked it, click like and subscribe, and hopefully you'll like my next videos as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.